Namaskaram. In today's video, I am going to talk about Graha Bhedam, a topic that many of you wanted me to explain. I waited this long because I wanted students to understand Adhara Shadjamam. I wanted students to understand what is a scale, what is an octave, how you shift the Adhara Shadjamam on the Veena to get different pitches and so on. These are some of the topics I have covered in the Listen and Learn series as well as the Watch and Play Along series. For those of you who have not seen these videos, I am giving the links for these videos in my description section. Do go and watch them before you come to this topic because you will understand this concept much better. Now, Graha Bhedam. This concept is there not only in Carnatic music but in Hindustani music as well, where they call it Morchana, and in Western classical system where it is called the modes, where you shift the Adhara Shadjamam to another note of a raga, particular raga scale. Now here we are going to, in today's video, I'm going to take Mohanam, a simple ragam, so that you will understand the complex nature of Graha Bhedam much better. So when I take Mohanam and I shift the Shadjamam of Mohanam from one note to the other, what gets unraveled? That is today's video for you. So most of you out there know the scale of Mohanam, but I'll still play it for you. Sa, which is a pitchy here. Rishabam, which is Shruthi Rishabam, Re2. Adhara Shadjamam, Panchamam, Shruthi Bhedam or Dhatu, and the upper scale Sa. So whenever you talk about a ragam which goes across 3 octaves, 3 sthayi ragam, such ragas are called. Mohanam can be played on the mantra sthayi, Mohanam can be played in the tara sthayi as well. So when you take a raga like this, you have to look at the raga in its entirety, that it can go from the mantra sthayi everywhere. You can, all these 3 octaves, the mantra sthayi, madhya sthayi, tara sthayi, you can play Mohanam. Having understood it till here, what is Graha Bhedam for Mohanam? Now this is the Shadjamam for Mohanam, the open note of the first string. Now I am going to shift the Shadjamam to Re2, which is the next note of Mohanam. After Sa, you get Re2. So that will now become our new Sa. The rest of the notes of Mohanam stay. We have to now follow the same route of Mohana scale and see what other ragams derive from this. Now if Re2 is your Sa, the next note of Mohanam is Ga3, right? The Adhara Gandharam. Now what is the space between Re2 and Ga3? Just one note. So if Re2 were Sa and you leave one note and go to the next note, then it is a Re2. So now Ga3 of Mohanam becomes Re2 for the new ragam. If you are confused, I am also going to have a digital presentation of the same thing and your confusion will all be dissolved. So the Ga3 now is the Re2 for the new ragam. After Ga3, which is the note for Mohanam? Pa, Panchamam, right? Now what is the gap between the Ga and the Pa? 2 notes. So if the new ragam is going to have a Re2 in Ga3, if you leave 2 notes, what is the next note that comes on Pa for the new ragam? Ma. So the Pa of Mohanam becomes Ma 1 for the new ragam. So for the new ragam now you have Sa, Re2 which is on Ga3 of Mohanam, and Ma which is Ma 1 which is on the Panchamam of Mohanam. The next note after Pa for Mohanam is Dhatu. So for the new ragam, this note will be Pa. Why? Because I said Ma is for the new ragam is on Pa. One note you leave, there is one note gap, and then Dhatu of Mohanam which will become Pa for the new ragam. The next note after Dhatu for Mohanam is Tara sthayi Sa. Sa. Now that gives two note gap. On your Veena, if you're having doubts, just keep your Veena when you're listening to my what I'm trying to tell you. So from Da to Sa, 2 notes gap is left for Mohanam. For the new ragam, it is a Pa. The two gaps will make the new note Ni. So the Sa of Mohanam, of the Tarasthayi Sa of Mohanam, becomes the Ni 2 or Kaishiki Nishadam for the new note. Now the new note will have its Tarasthayi Shadjamam in the Rishabham of Mohanam. Tarasthayi Ritu of Mohanam therefore becomes the Shadjamam for the new Ragam, Tarasthayi Shadjamam. So the new Ragam extends from the Madhyasthayi Rishabham Ritu to the Tarasthayi Ritu of Mohanam. So that is the Tarasthayi Sa for the new Ragam. I'll play the new Ragam for you from the Ritu to the Tarasthayi Ritu, and you can hear Madhyamavati there. Throughout this journey of getting the new Ragam, we have travelled only on the scale of Mohanam. But because of that frequency difference or the space difference between each one of those notes, the Ragam has become a new Ragam, and I would like you to identify the new Ragam as I play it. Many of you would have guessed, because it's so typical of this Ragam, when you do the Re, Sa, yes, Madhyamavati. So by shifting the Shadjamam of Mohanam from its original Sa to its Ritu, we have got Madhyamavati. See how beautiful, the concept is working out so well. Now we shift the Sha again from the Ritu to the Gatri, Adhara Gandharam of Mohanam. Now this Adhara Gandharam, start hearing it as Sa. The Gandharam for Mohanam now is the Sa for the new Ragam that we are going to deduce from this scale. Sa. So from this Gandharam, Madhyasthayi Gandharam to the Tarasthayi Gandharam, the new Raga scale starts coming out. So Sa, which is the next note after Gandharam for Mohanam, Pa, right? Ga is our new Sa. Now next is Pa. So there is a gap of 2 notes between the Ga and Pa. The Ga, mind you, now is our new Raga Sa. So with 2 note gap, this Pa becomes Ga 2 for the new Raga. Sa, Ga 2. Sadharana Gandharam. Then after 1 note gap, we reach the Ga 2 of Mohanam. See, Mohanam has to travel with us. You might be wondering, she's confusing me. She's saying Mohanam and then she's saying new Ragam. The new Ragam is evolving from the scale of Mohanam. So Mohanam is not going to leave our vision at all. We have to travel with the Mohanam. It's like 2 tracks running side by side. So Saga. Now the Dhatu of Mohanam becomes Ma 1 for the new Ragam. So the new Ragam already has got 3 notes. Shadjama. The next note of Mohanam is the Tarasthayi Shadjamam. After 2 gaps from the Da to the Sa, the new Raga gets its next note. Da. So it is Sa, Da, Ma, Da. The next Raga for Mohanam is the Tarasthayi Rishabham, Ritu, and for the new Ragam, it becomes Ni. Sagamadani, and the last note Gandhara becomes the Sa for the new Ragam. So the new Ragam, I'm sure many of you have guessed it by now. Yes, Hindolam it is. Sagamadani Sa, Sani Damaga Sa. Shifting of the Sa of Mohanam from its original place to its Gandharam gives rise to Hindolam. We go to the next note, Panchama. Think of it. Immediately your ears will have to. This was the reason why I started the Listen and Learn series. Many of you would have wondered, while I could have just watched and learned from her till today. So many of you write to me saying, ma'am, why don't you just play it in front of a video? Give us a video. Don't give us audios. Sorry, a lot of concepts of music comes from your listening, strength of your listening skills. So watch this. Now you have to perceive this as a Sa. Sa. The next note of Mohanam will become, the Dhatu is Mohanam's next note. Now it becomes Ritu for the new Ragam, because the new Ragam Sa is in Panchama. sa, re. The sa, Tarasthai Shadjamam of Mohanam becomes ma for the new raga, ma 1. The re 2 of Mohanam in the Tarasthai becomes pa for the new ragam. The ga 3 of Mohanam in the Tarasthai becomes dha 2 for the new ragam. And the Panchamam of the Tarasthai Mohanam becomes now the Shadjamam, Tarasthai Shadjamam for the new ragam. So the new ragam extends from pa of the Madhyasthai to pa of the Tarasthai, and the ragam goes like this. Did you hear the Swarasthanas here? Sari ma pa da sa, sa da pa mari sa. Suddha Saveri it is. So I have been able to get these 4 ragas just by shifting the Shadjamam from one note of Mohanam to the other. I have maintained the Mohanam scale throughout. I just shifted the Shadjamam and followed the other notes of Mohanam from which we have got initially. Let me go in that order. Initially we started off with Mohanam. This was Mohanam. Shifting the sa to re 2 of Mohanam gives you Madhyamavati. Now shifting the Shadjamam from re 2 of Madhyamavati to Gandharam of Mohanam. Sa gave. Sa gama dani sa. Sanida Magasa Hindolam. Now shifting the Shadjama to Panchamam of Mohanam gave rise to Sarima Padasa Sada Pamarisa Suddha Saveri. Now let me give you all an exercise. Take Sankarabharanam. Many of you know Sankarabharanam scale. Play Sankarabharanam on the normal Shadjama, pitch E or pitch D sharp, whichever your Veena is tuned to. Play Sankarabharanam and then slowly shift the Shadjamam to the next note of Sankarabharanam and see which ragams come out of it. You will have all of them will be Melakarta ragas. Do write in my comment section once you have found out what those ragas are. Now what is the use for this kind of a Graha Bhedam? If you are creating music, any manodharma will become very rich if you use this format. For example, you are doing a piece in Mohanam. Say you are playing an alapana in Mohanam, a kalpana swaram in Mohanam. You can shift the Shadjamam, go into these other ragas of Mohanam and get back to your original after you have done your manodharmic exercises in those ragams. How beautiful it will be. Yes, it requires a lot of skill, a lot of understanding and a lot of practice before you can do this kind of shifting. Yes, Graha Bhedam is also called Shruthi Bhedam. There are some small technical differences between the two. I will mention that in the description section. But I do want all of you to try this shift and see the beauty of it. Do write me in the comment section. And of course, do not forget the new exercise that you have to do with Sankarabharanam. I'd be very glad to clear out your doubts. Until I see you in my next video, best wishes.